because I like problem solvers. I want to back people who can solve problems, because mining's not easy. Mining's tough. Things happen. So when you go and do a turnaround, what were the things that you were equipped to do that the previous CEO wasn't?
I think, well, the one thing is credibility. It's obviously hugely important. And I mean, Ross will back me out, and Ross would confirm this if he was sitting here. They only looked at that company because I was the CEO. They wouldn't have looked at it otherwise. So personal credibility is key. Obviously, the good old values, honesty, integrity, all the good stuff. I would say that is a key aspect. Another aspect is ability to execute. It's a high-flying term for just getting shit done. Excuse my language. And I'm very good at that. I'm very good at crossing the T's, dotting the I's. I guess it's my German heritage. I tend to be thorough, detail-oriented. I make sure that stuff gets done. And I would say, you asked me earlier what have been the ingredients of the success in Osino from getting it to a dream to $120 million market cap. Probably the largest aspect is execution, because that's stuff that you can control. The markets and all that stuff is also important, but you can't control it. So I tend to focus on the things that I can control, which very clearly in my case is execution. And living in Cape Town, close to where the assets are, etc., helps me in that. Sorry, I got sidetracked now, but yeah, that's a key aspect. So,
okay. So there was no sort of Hirschsprung technique. There's no aspect to in terms of a technical component that you had to solve. It was literally just joining the dots. Is that what you're saying?
No, neither. It's always, there are many, many aspects. There was actually, this is a great question. Thank you for asking it. There was a unique technical challenge that we solved in Namibia, which we are very proud about, which also was a major factor. And that was exploration through cover. I mean, everybody knows that in today's world, most of the big deposits that are exposed out in the open have been found. So therefore, any new stuff will either be found in very difficult jurisdictions like the Stands or Russia or complicated places like that, or in the jungle, or undercover. And now Namibia, if you look at it, Namibia is largely undercover. It's covered by desert sand. And although it is so accessible, sort of physically accessible, and it's so easy to operate there, it is actually totally underexplored or even unexplored because of the cover. And the cover in Namibia is a sand layer of about 20 meters, 10 to 20 meters, that covers just about everything. Not everything, but most areas. So we applied, first step, what I did is I found two very credible geologists that have a perfect combination of innovation and experience and ability to deliver. And those guys came up with a conceptual exploration model. I had the money with Ross and others, and I have enough self-confidence and experience that I could trust those geos, and I took a view on them and I said, okay, carry out a long-term, large-scale exploration program, which they did. And as part of that, they looked to Australia to find solutions for exploring through cover, because it has been done elsewhere before, so we didn't invent it. We just applied these Western Australian techniques to the Namibian situation because, it's climatologically, it's very similar. So basically, just in a nutshell, when you have a lot of evaporation, you have groundwater that percolates upwards and it carries with it minute quantities of gold, which precipitate out near the top. And the Western Australians and the CSIRO, the research organization over there, in the last 20 years came up with assay techniques to analyze down to minute quantities. And that resulted in some significant discoveries in Western Australia. And all we did is we imported those techniques, we applied it to Namibia, and it worked. And so by the beginning of last year or so, using these techniques, we delineated a very large surface expression of a gold system through this cover, 15-kilometer system, which we call the Twin Hills system. And we then followed it up with multiple rounds of drilling, and it ultimately resulted in this discovery, which is completely undercover, completely blind, which we are drilling on.